How's it going, everyone? ND Sean 45 here. Now, as we all know, yesterday, the jury in the Derek Chauvin trial on the case of George Floyd, they came back and returned a verdict. And it was the same on all three charges. Guilty, guilty, and guilty. Now, I gave it a day before doing this video because I wanted to see the reactions from both sides of the spectrum here all across social media, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. Well, now I'm here to give mine. And it's very simple. Yesterday, our justice system died. It's dead. It's kaput. It's no more. Yesterday's ruling was not a ruling of the courts. It was a ruling of the BLM liberal woke mob. Let's just be realistic here. Derek Chauvin, he never had a chance in this case. He didn't. He really didn't. He was already found guilty long before he ever went to trial. And what is that the result of? It's the result of the bullshit that's been going on for like the last 6 years, give or take. Ever since, Colin Kaepernick started kneeling for the national anthem and other athletes and celebrities started following suit. Ever since the mainstream media started pushing this false narrative of, all cops are racist, all cops are against black people, the world is against black people, white privilege, pushing this anti-cop agenda and all that bullshit that we've been hearing nonstop since then. That is what made the ruling against Derek Chauvin, not the courts. But I will say this, though. I got to give some sympathy to the jury because all those jurors, they were put in between a rock and a hard place. Especially when you have Maxine Waters out there who truly is inciting violence, telling people to, if a not guilty verdict is found, then you basically do what you did last summer. Take back to the streets. Start making your quote-unquote making yourselves heard, which in reality means loot and riot some more. Destroy the cities again. Because that's exactly what would have happened if these jurors returned a not guilty verdict. And never mind the fact that all these sitting jurors, they openly said that they feared for their lives. And of course, that if they did return a not guilty verdict, somebody from the press would leak out their information and they would face some serious danger. Someone would try to kill them for sure, because that's the kind of world we live in now. It's almost like we are living in an episode of the Twilight Zone. That's what this is like. But all I can say is this: there was no justice yesterday. It was all injustice. Basically, what yesterday was. And I don't mean it, this is just the best way I can describe it. I don't mean anything by this, but yesterday was pretty much a lynching. That's pretty much what it was. It was not a fair trial, basically for the exact reasons that I gave. And all I can say is this, going back to Maxine Waters, that woman is trash, and she is a disgrace to all of Congress. And I gotta say, though, this is a completely different topic, but I'll keep it short. Back in January, when the riots at the Capitol building happened, everybody in the liberal side, they were so ready to crucify Donald Trump and hold him responsible for that, for inciting violence. Well, you have Maxine Waters, who is openly doing it, openly saying it, and they don't care. See, apparently it's justifiable if you're a liberal Democrat, but if you're a conservative Republican, well, damn you to hell, crucify you. The hypocrisy in this is so unbelievable, it's not even funny. But, yeah, that woman is absolute trash, and she should not be on Congress. But you got so many of these liberal psychopaths who are in government, and it's sickening that so many people can't see through it. But all I know is I hope Mr. Chauvin appeals this. But regardless, even if he does, the damage has already been done. His life is over, because he's always going to be guilty no matter what. And people are always going to see him as guilty. They're only going to see him as this racist white cop who just woke up one morning and decided I'm going to kill me a black person today. And that's the bullshit. Like I said, that's the bullshit narrative we've been hearing for like the last 6, 7 years, give or take. But I think what's really more troubling than this, well, as I think as Gorilla Monsoon in the WWF back in the day would always say in matches, a miscarriage of justice. That applies here. The fact that all the people who supported this outcome, it is amazing that they blatantly ignore the facts, and they can't. They're. It's like they're incapable of doing their research on this whole thing. I mean, for God's sakes, the medical examiner said that it was not Chauvin's knee that killed George Floyd. It was most likely the mixture of fentanyl and methamphetamine that killed him, which he had in his system. And obviously all drugs are dangerous, don't get me wrong, but I'm telling you, fentanyl, that's a drug that takes it to a whole new level. I mean, I don't do drugs, but I've seen it. I mean, fentanyl is that kind of drug where just if people sniff it, they can pass out and get sick. But one of the side effects of fentanyl is shortening your breath, not being able to breathe. And then you add methamphetamine on top of that. Holy cow. So, gee, why was it really that George Floyd wasn't able to breathe? I mean, come on, yeah, maybe Chauvin had his knee on the neck area of George Floyd, but what about the several minutes that George Floyd was sitting in the squad car without a knee on him? And he's still saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Is it really because of the knee? No, I don't think so. Most likely the drugs. But so many people that have fallen for this false narrative that's been pushed for several years now of, you're just basically making everything about race. It was all racially motivated. This, that, all that false narrative of cops are racist, the world's against black people, all that nonsense. They can't even see that simple fact. I mean, put 2 and 2 together, people. I mean, yeah, maybe Chauvin could have handled it differently. I mean, there's always things you can do differently, and that's just to anything, not just police work. But he did not murder this guy. And it's funny, you point out these facts to people that Floyd resisted arrest. He was fighting with the cops. He just wouldn't comply. And they make excuses for that. No, there's no excuse. Just comply. Just comply. And also, if you guys want to look it up, there is a video of George Floyd being arrested in 2019, and he's doing the same exact thing, saying that he can't breathe, calling for his mom, worried that the cops are going to shoot him. And the cops even said in this video that we're not going to shoot you, dude. We're not going to shoot you. Just comply. So it's either one of two things. Either George Floyd was mentally ill, or he was just trying to put on an act. I mean, heavens, people, do your damn research. There was nothing racially motivated about this. Derek Chauvin did not just wake up that day and say, yeah, I'm going to go kill me a black person today. All these cops in these different cases with these people who have been killed at the hands of cops who just happen to be black, they were breaking the law. And now, of course, you have the most recent one. What's his name? Dante Wright. He's the next one that everybody's putting in on the say his name list. That crap. Never mind the fact that he fought with the police, resisted arrest, got in his car, and tried to drive off. So in the process, he could have ended up driving off, causing a high-speed chase, hurt others, or worse. I mean, I guess, yeah, there's responsibility on the female officer who shot him, who, mistook her gun for a taser. But the guy was being reckless. He was trying to get away. He was fighting. But then all these other people too, ones like Breonna Taylor, people making her out to be a saint, but yet at the same time, she's her boyfriend's a drug dealer, and she's basically his money handler. She was just a victim of racist police. Never mind the fact that when the police showed up to I can't remember if it was his apartment or her apartment with a warrant. Her boyfriend fires back at the police. What do you expect them to do? Just stand there and let him shoot them? No. So they fire back. She ends up getting killed in the crossfire. Another one, Rashard Brooks. I think this was in Atlanta. He's passed out in a Wendy's drive-thru. The cops pull him off to the side. They determine that he is drunk and had been driving under the influence. Go to arrest him for DUI. What does he do? Starts fighting with them, steals one of the officer's tasers, and as he's running, turns back to shoot the taser. He ends up getting shot. What do you think is going to happen? What do you people think is going to happen with all these cases? Again, it's not just cops wake up and decide they're going to kill a black person that day. They're doing their jobs. But no, I guess I guess you're off. If you're black, you're off limits. Cops can't do their job. You have to let them do whatever they want. You can't touch them. All because of some bullshit false narratives, and that so many people have fallen victim to. But I can't say I'm surprised at this. I mean, all these people are treated as martyrs. George Floyd is forever going to be a martyr. And what's that the result of? Very simple. Half of us in this country, we worship trash. We worship losers, bums. And that's exactly what all these people were. You look into their history, they're all losers and bums. And of course, losers and bums and trash comes in all forms and all colors. I mean, so many people in this country worship the people like the Kardashians. They worship people like the cast of Jersey Shore. Then there was that other, what was that? The trailer trash girl who did all the beauty pageants. What is her name? Honey Boo Boo. We all worship trash in this country. That's what it's the result of. That is what it's the result of. And in the end, this trash and all these bums, like George Floyd, are going to be martyrs. Because people are stupid. Because they believe the false narrative. They believe the bullshit. That's what it is. So yeah, those are my thoughts, people. And, if you have a problem with the truth, then like Jack Nicholson said in A Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth. And I don't care if you don't like it. Nobody ever said the truth was easy to take. But it's truth nonetheless. So, on that note, good night. God bless.